Right, hello everyone. So, in the last video I said I'm taking a month off, but before I go, I want to make it very, very clear that this year I will be voting for reform. I will be voting for Nigel Farage and Richard Tice. Why am I doing this? I'm doing it essentially because they are an anti-immigration party. They have adopted a policy of net zero immigration, which means one in, one out. Right? I personally would prefer a total ban on immigration, but net zero, that's close enough for me. That's fine. I'll take that. And I would like to remind everybody at the beginning of this video that this position that they are taking on immigration is even more radical than Donald Trump. If you remember back in 2016 and the great meme war of 2016, 8 years ago, what a long time. The entire internet rallied behind Donald Trump because he said he's going to build a wall and he's going to kick the illegal immigrants out and he's going to lock Hillary Clinton up. Okay, that's fine, that's fantastic. But Donald Trump was still a pro-immigration candidate. He was still pro-immigration. He wasn't actually anti-immigration. But this position that reform is taking is even more radical than Donald Trump. I want you all to just think about this for a moment. Now, I failed to support Nigel Farage for a long time because his whole thing was always like, oh, we need to stop Polish immigration and get more Indians in the country. And it's like, no, Farage, no, I don't want them. But apparently he's caught up. He's realised what's going on. He's realised what the British public want. And now he's adopted this net zero immigration approach. This is more radical than Donald Trump. And yet the internet does not rally behind him. Why? Why is this? They say, oh, he's a Zionist, or he didn't do anything about the great lockdown, or the coronavirus, or the vaccine, or blah, 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 or I don't like his economic policies, or blah. I don't even understand. This is just gibberish and nonsense. This is childish. Why is it the entire internet rallied behind Donald Trump, but they're not rallying behind Nigel Farage right now? It's totally absurd. We need to change the country. We need to grasp this opportunity, and we need to slap the establishment in the face. And this is not some pie in the sky nonsense. This is not some esoteric, I'm going to form my secret club and we'll wear suits and smoke cigars and we'll be the elites, and then maybe in 100 years' time we'll take the country back or something like that. It's not nonsense like that. This is not some nonsense gibberish about a race war or we're going to have a revolution or whatever. It's not some nonsense gibberish. This is a very practical, achievable thing. You need 10 million votes to get this, this political party into parliament. And we got 10 million votes for Brexit. So if you just get the Brexit vote and you connect that to reform and you connect that to Nigel Farage, we can actually completely destroy the Tory party and completely destroy the Labour Party. This is a achievable, doable thing. All right? Not some lunatic, crazy, Illuminati, aliens, flat earth nonsense. This is achievable. This is what Donald Trump achieved in America. We all know he won the 2020 election as well. What is it, 80 million votes or something he got? So we all know the Brexit vote is sitting there. We all know people are disappointed with the Tories because they haven't fixed this boat crisis. We all know we've got Nigel Farage on GB News. And everybody's watching him. Apparently he's more popular than the BBC. He's on GB News at 7 o'clock every day. So we've got this perfect setup. Maybe not so many people have heard of reform, but I think they have now. Everyone's heard of Nigel Farage. He is a household name. And as the election rolls on, people are going to start talking about reform. So we have an actual doable, possible win on our hands here for a anti-immigration party, and yet the e-celebs of the internet, for whatever reason, have just completely failed to rally behind him. It's totally absurd. It's totally absurd. Why are they not doing it? Well, it's because they're too cool, essentially. Basically, they're all doomers and they're all accelerationists. And the nature of the internet is a mob, and it caters to the lowest common denominator, and it caters to people who like to complain, essentially. It caters... Because when you're having a philosophical argument with anybody about anything, there's always the question of the burden of proof, okay? The person who is trying to propose something has the burden of proving that that thing is possible. The person who just is a skeptic and criticizes, he doesn't have to prove anything. So what happens psychologically or philosophically on the internet, when any debate is taking place with anything, you have a mob of people that just like to complain. They don't have the burden of proving their own position. They just tear everybody else down like crabs in a barrel. So you say, I'm going to vote for reform. And they'll say, oh, you believe in democracy. You're so stupid. Or Nigel Farage is a Zionist. Don't you know? and you say to them, well, what's your plan? And they say, oh, I don't have a plan. We're all doomed. And it's like, well, that's not a plan. Okay? You're on the Titanic, the ship is sinking, and your plan's just to go down with the ship. No, thank you very much. Right? Let's get on a boat. let's figure a way out to survive. So please understand that the internet is full of these types of people. Partly it's probably a psyop. I mean, you have to understand that we do not live in the Soviet Union. All right? There's a lot of people pushing this meme, oh, we live in this totalitarian hellscape. Yeah, it's bad, but it's not that bad. It's not as bad as the Soviet Union was. We do have a vote, and our vote does matter, and the government is worried about us. That's why they spend so much time restricting our freedom of speech and trying to brainwash everybody. The number one way that the government deals with the population is just to distract them. And that works for 90% of people. So it's Netflix and it's Pornhub. And it's just, don't worry about this. Just masturbate and buy stuff. And you'll be fine, right? But then you have a 10% that actually is interested and they're angry about the establishment. So they deal with them in a number of ways. Firstly, it's the whole self-improvement group of people. So they go to the gym, they want to make money. Oh, I'm not interested in politics. And it's like, well, it's not bad, but it's, this is the Jordan Peterson solution. Don't worry about politics, you peasants. Just work harder. Work harder and make more money and improve yourself, right? Don't worry about the people that are ruining your country, you peasants. Okay, that's the self-improvement trap. And then you have other people like Varg Vikernes, the survivalists. I'm just going to hide in the forest and wait for civilization to collapse. And then you've got doomers who are just giving up on everything and they're just alcoholics and they smoke weed all day long. Then you've got irony bros who just like, oh, it's just a joke, man. I just like to go on the internet and crack jokes. Then you've got like psychotic accelerationists who actually genuinely want for everything to get worse in the hope that everything will collapse and out of the fire some kind of revolution will happen or some kind of new civilization will take birth. So many, many different ways of distracting people from organizing in a political manner. But the aim is the same. The aim is, don't get politically organized, you peasants. That's the message. Don't vote for Farage, essentially. Don't vote for reform. Don't vote for something that's going to actually challenge the status quo. That's the message. And then of course on top of that, you have the whole like, oh, it's a far-right party and blah, 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 right? So all these people that you meet on the internet that are saying, oh, you're not voting for Nigel Farage, are you? Oh, my God. I'm so much cleverer than you. I've read Julius Evola, right? I am riding the tiger, right? Or I've read Ted Kaczynski, and I'm going to survive the apocalypse. Don't you know democracy? Just tell these people to fuck off, really, just seriously. Just absolutely fuck off. You have fallen for a psyop. which has convinced you that you have no power. That's what you've fallen for. Do you think the establishment wanted to give us a vote on Brexit? No, but Nigel Farage forced them to. 10 years ago. 10 years ago. 10 years ago, UKIP got 4 million votes. How angry, and that was in reaction to the whole Rotherham in many ways. How angry are people today about these boats and about all the nonsense that's going on? We have a Brexit vote. It's possible for them to win. Okay? So the internet should rally behind reform. Now is not the time to be squabbling. Now is not the time for blah, blah, blah. Oh, I disagree with your economic policy or whatever. I don't care about their economic policy. I don't care about anything else that they say. There's only one subject matter that matters to me, and that is net zero immigration. Now is the time to rally behind the leader and to smash the establishment in the face. We have an opportunity. We can do this. And to be quite frank with you, all of these moronic e-celebs just need to be bullied into silence. And that's not just me because I hate neo-Nazis. That's the Civnats as well. Your Sargons, your Delingpole, your Hitchins, right? Including, of course, your Morgoth and your Millennial Woes and whatever. If you're a British nationalist e-celeb and you're not rallying behind reform, you're an idiot. You're just dumb. You need to ask these people, are you going to vote reform? If they say no, you ask them, what is your plan? What is your plan? And if they don't have an answer, you need to tell them that they're completely stupid, because they are. Okay? I hope that makes my feelings clear. All right? God bless you. Thank you very much.